For sale by owner sellers made $55,000 less than sellers who used an agent last year. $55,000. And some people still think skipping the agent is the smart move. Well, let me show you the math on why that's one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Hello, I'm Frank Kenny with Living in Los Angeles, South Bay. Today we're talking about the one mistake that Dave Ramsey says could cost you tens of thousands of dollars, whether you're buying or selling. And the data backs him up in a big way. Before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe so you always get the inside scoop on the housing market. So what's the expensive mistake nobody thinks is a mistake? Home ownership is expensive at every stage. The down payment, the closing costs, the maintenance, the taxes, the moving costs. I get it, every dollar matters. So it makes sense that people look for ways to save wherever they can. But here's where some people go wrong. They think they can save money by cutting out the real estate agent. No commission, no middleman, more money in my pocket. That's the logic. And on the surface, it sounds reasonable. But the detail tells a completely different story. And Dave Ramsey, the guy who built his entire brand on being smart with money, says going without an agent is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Let's talk about the $55,000 gap because this is where it gets real. Last year, the median selling house price for all homes in the country was $435,000. The typical for sale by owner home, $380,000. That's a $55,000 difference. Now, some people will say, yeah, but I saved on commission. Okay, well, let's do that math. Even if you paid a full agent commission, let's say $13,000 to $26,000, depending on the rate and whether you cover the buyer's agent or not, you would still net at least $29,000 more by using an agent at minimum. So you didn't save any money by going for sale by owner. You actually lost money and potentially a lot of it. And that's a national average. In the South Bay, where home values are significantly higher by 2 to 3 times, that gap would be even larger. Now you might ask, why do buyers need a professional realtor? Well, starting with the buyer side, a lot of first-time buyers especially think they can just find a house on Zillow and handle everything themselves. Well, let me quickly tell you what a good buyer's agent actually does for you. Now first, they look at hundreds of homes every year. They know what a fair price looks like and what's overpriced. They can stop you from overpaying, and that alone can save you more than the commission. Next, they know the comparable sales in the area, the recent demand patterns, and how prices compare across neighborhoods. You might be able to get your dream home for less, but only if someone is at the table who knows what's worth negotiating. Next, they catch things you won't. Buried in the paperwork of every real estate transaction are details that can cost you money or lock you into a bad agreement. An agent's job is to protect you from all of that. And speaking of paperwork, are you aware of how much legal paperwork is involved in a real estate transaction? And it's growing every year. Think about it this way. Would you go to court without a lawyer? Would you file your taxes without an accountant when hundreds of thousands of dollars are on the line? Would you perform your own medical procedures? This is the same thing. You're hiring an expert to protect your interests on one of the biggest financial transactions of your life. So why do sellers need an agent? Well, on the selling side, the stakes are just as high, maybe even higher, because the biggest decision you make as a seller is your listing price. And getting it wrong in either direction costs you money. Price too high and your home sits on the market. The longer it sits, the more buyers assume something is wrong with it. Eventually, you end up cutting the price, sometimes multiple times, and selling for less than you would have if you'd have priced it right from the start. Price it too low and you leave money on the table, period. A good agent prices your home based on real data, comparable sales, current market conditions, buyer's demand in specific neighborhood, and they don't guess. They don't inflate the number to win your listing. They give you the number that will get your home sold for the most money in the least amount of time. On top of that, they handle the marketing, the showings, the negotiations, the inspection issues, the appraisal concerns, and the whole closing process. That's a lot of moving pieces, and one mistake on any of them can cost you. And like the buyers, there's a ton of legal paperwork that must be handled in the sale of a home. 88% of buyers use an agent, and 91% would do it again. If the financial argument isn't enough, there's the social proof. According to the National Association of Realtors, 88% of all home buyers used a real estate agent or broker last year. For buyers of previously owned homes, that number jumps to 92%. And here's the stat that really tells the story. 91% of buyers said that they would use their agent again or recommend them to someone else. That's a 91% satisfaction rate. When was the last time 91% of people agreed on anything? People who go through the process and experience what's a good agent and what they do for them come out on the other side saying, yes, it was absolutely worth it. That tells you everything you need to know. I want to leave you with something Dave Ramsey's team wrote because I think it perfectly captures why this matters. A good agent handles all of the complex tasks of buying and selling every single day. Their experience helps you avoid the kind of rookie mistakes that cost real money. Sure, you can try and do it yourself, but when you're sitting in the middle of a real estate transaction with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, you realize pretty quickly why good agents are worth their weight in gold. I couldn't have said it better. And I'd add one more thing. A great agent doesn't just help you avoid mistakes, they actively help you make more money. That's the big difference. So what's the bottom line? Well, trying to buy or sell a home without a real estate agent isn't saving you money. The data proves it's costing you money, potentially tens of thousands of dollars. The commission isn't a cost, it's actually an investment. And the return on that investment is a higher sale price, a smoother process, and the confidence that comes from having an expert in your corner handling everything in the transaction from A to Z. If you're thinking about buying or selling and you want someone who will fight for every dollar on your behalf, please reach out to me. That's exactly what I do, and my online reviews show it. And if you're an agent and have questions about this topic, please reach out to me as well. Please like and subscribe so you're guaranteed to get all of our current helpful videos, and please feel free to share these useful videos with your family and your friends. This is Frank Kenny with Living in Los Angeles South Bay, and I'll see you on the next video.